Good evening from the UK and welcome to Inception special podcast. This evening I have two. I've got a double act tonight, I know. You take that how you wish. And I have to guess at one time, they are a team. I saw them accidentally, actually. It was a bit of synchronicity. And I just got attracted to the background of their show. And I thought, I'm going to listen to these two. And I was blown away by their synergies. I was blown away by their humility, their love, their compassion, the non-judgmental aspect, and everything was coming in. And I ended up, normally I only listen to 5-10 minutes of each podcast, but I ended up watching the whole podcast. And I said, I've got to have them on the show. They are amazing. I'm just going to say hello, Laurie, and hello, Theresa.
Hello, Gloria. Thank you so much for having us. Such a pleasure.
You're welcome. Now, I would like you, because I'm sure I would not be able to say your name correctly, your podcast, your show. So one of you, whoever goes first, please introduce your podcast to the UK people.
Well, I can do that. We're Andromeda, Celestial Gateway. It's been quite an experience with this show. We developed it about a year ago. We've been doing this for about a year, right, Theresa?
Yep.
Yeah. And we were started with a gentleman out of our soul tribe. His name is Al Sorello, and he came up with the idea. And in essence, we kind of ran with it and ended up making it our own. So it's been an exciting experience.
It's such a success. My first podcast, Open Minds Chat Show, will be a year in January. This Inception is a baby, younger. So I'm coming up to my first year too. I've got to say, you two, you've worked so hard. I have gone back and watched a few other ones as well. I've gone back in time, and the standard, even though it was excellent at the beginning of interviewing and bringing the guests on, the standards that you have as interviewer has increased. It's such a joyous show, high in positivity.
Thank you.
Paying me later. They're sending me the money later for this.
Yeah, well, checks in the mail.
Checks in the mail. But seriously, and every guest, no matter what their truth, no matter what they say, you just open arms and you welcome them and you allow them to express in a safe space of your podcast. So I have to say that, and I recommend that you watch their podcast, but we'll sort that out later. So to start with, here we go. I would love to know how you two got together. Okay, I want to know about you two, because I keep saying when I first spoke to you, there's a synergy between you. You're like, two halves of a coin, or the back and the front, or you're twins. So let's go. Anyone go first? How did it
Theresa,
happen?
go ahead.
Well, we belong to the Gateway program. It's actually set up and run by a whole bunch of like-minded spiritual people who have known each other for years, some longer than others. And they go around, there's a lot of them have their own YouTube channels. And so they cross-promote, and there's a large community of people from every aspect of spirituality you can think of, pagans, Wiccans, occultists, it doesn't matter. We don't differentiate or discriminate or judge in any way. And so we're a very broad community of people. And I met Laurie a couple years ago just in chat. She was a moderator for another program and a couple programs that I was in and out of constantly. And I saw her commenting, and I would comment, and there's like tons of Blue Wrench moderators on these YouTube channels, But it wasn't until our brother Brian Barnett ascended quite suddenly a little over a year ago that he started visiting each one, a few of us, through spirit. and we would get these messages from him. And Al, who was our founder of this group for Andromeda, is a truck driver, and he's driving down the highway all the time, and he's picking up these synchronicities between all of us who are saying we're having a communication with Brian. He himself was getting downloads. So he pulled us all together into a phone conference call. And, he talked to us individually to feel us out about coming together to create a new program that would be a gateway to a broader spiritual community because of the shifts that are going on in the world right now. And so we wanted to carry on that message that Brian Barnett had been putting out there. And there's another channel, his channel, which somebody stepped into to help run. But he was still contemplating on what he wanted to do with that. So we decided that this higher conscious that he had been talking about, I create, higher connectivity with spirit, was something he wanted to see done. And he wanted us to reach out beyond these channels that we had all been on and bring in fresh resources, bring in new gifts and talents to share their stories and experiences, and at the same time grow our own community and make it stronger with this conscious collectiveness. So that's what we did. We all got together the very first day. He had a joint conference with 6 or 7 of us on the phone, on a chat, and we saw each other for the first time physically. Well, some of us had seen each other on channels when they went on shows, but when you're together, that group dynamic,
the energies are different, isn't it? The
energies are different, and it's like, boom, I know who she is.
Yeah. Wow.
I know that person.
She recognized me before I knew what was happening.
She recognized you first.
Oh yeah, I did. And I didn't say anything to anybody. And as we started to get to know each other, because we went in, right away with how do we design a program? How do we put together a program? How do we structure it? And that's my background. And I came in as administration and support.
Yeah.
But they didn't know that I had a background in media. And Al figured it out. So we started driving this vision and creating a structure for the show. And we had to start working very closely. And every time I saw her on screen, I was like, oh my God, I know who she is. And she's somebody from my another part of my consciousness.
At this point, you hadn't told her, no?
Didn't know anything about it.
Hold on. Pump the brakes there. Hold on. So, Laurie, were you picking up anything? Not like but was there anything going on in your sort of world?
In the beginning, no. I was still kind of getting to know everyone, and I was an extremely private person.
Yeah.
And so this, and I was nudged by my guide to start my own channel and talk about my own awakening.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where all that stuff came from. But no, I wasn't, I had no clue at that moment.
Wow.
This is quite the evolution.
Well, no, we're going to go into this. So I'm back to you, Theresa. I've never done a double before. Look at me. I'm
okay.
Back to you, Theresa. And the next stage, what happened next?
Well, then as we progressed and got to know each other and how each other worked, and I already knew how she worked. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Other people, because there's this tension. There's also joy and fun.
Yeah.
And I recognized other people like Brother David and other people I recognized as soul brothers and sisters for sure. Yeah. I have visions. I'm a clairvoyant, so I'm given visions.
Yeah.
I feel the energy, but I also get snapshots of things together in other realities with these people. So I recognize them. And I was recognizing them one by one. Oh, I know him. He was my brother, or that was my sister, or that, So, but as I'm Laurie and I had to work very closely together because Laurie's the one that has the hardware and the software. And I'm the program director at the time. And I was pulling it all together with communications. And so the two of us were often out together working. where the others were coming in once a week for
we spent a lot more time together. That's for sure.
We spent a lot more time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I would be sitting there going, when she was like, I'm not going to do it that way. I'm going to do it this way. This is the way I want to do it. I'm like, because that's exactly her personality that I know. So it was so easy for me to go with her flow.
Yeah.
It was just convincing other people, hey, relax. She's got her way of working.
Yeah.
It'll get done in her way and in her time because I know her.
Yeah.
So it was so easy to put the program together with her because I was just like hands off. If you let Laurie go create, Laurie goes and creates.
Yeah.
If you try to control Laurie,
no,
Laurie shuts down.
Yeah, it's a bit like me actually. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'll shut down.
It's not that she's not a team player. It's just that she freaking knows what she's freaking doing. Yeah. Leave her alone and she'll get there.
So I'm excited. When did you tell her? When did you come out of the closet and say, listen, I know you and this is how it goes down? When did you do that?
Oh, God, Laurie, you want to try that one? I can't remember.
When did it happen, Laurie?
Oh, we started telling each other stories about our past lives, right?
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah. So you
triggered me with,
Yeah. So what it was, there was a past life that we shared. Mm-hmm. And in this past life, this goes back to Greece, Macedonia. Mm-hmm. And she was mentioning this lifetime. And I said, oh, that's interesting because I have the same situation. Mm-hmm. So I started describing what I knew and what I found to be true. And as I shared a photograph of the person I believe I was, it just blew her right out of the water. I mean, she just was like, holy crap.
Well, because I already knew it was her.
See, she already knew that, but that's when I realized, whoa, wait a second, something's going on here. Yeah. I'm like, how would she know about that when I haven't even said anything to anyone? I mean, how is that possible?
I mean, my God, that must have shattered, ripped apart everything you thought you knew at that point. I mean, that must be a major, major conscious shift.
Oh, yes.
I mean, I can imagine. I wouldn't have said blast. I would have said fucking fuck. I would have spent the day cussing. That would have blown my mind. I do anyway, but it doesn't really matter. Oh my God. So then what happened? Go on.
Well, we just started delving into all this stuff. And a lot of it came from my guide, because I have a guide that I go to, Eric Meadows. Mm-hmm. And so in a way, I think he was nudging me and pushing me to do all this stuff. And I was like, he kept saying, you're going to have a YouTube channel. This is going to happen and that's going to happen. And I'm like, are you sure? I'm like, I don't know about all this. Yeah. But there was something to be said about when we connected and when we started talking that it just unraveled kind of like an onion skin. There was that first layer. Okay, there was that knowing. And then the next thing you know, it blossoms into this. And then we're just going, wow. So how much more have we been involved with, So we're discovering other lifetimes and we're just kind of getting into it. We're getting to know each other. Wow. And then we're realizing there's just a connection that is uncanny. I mean, you just can't, it's hard to describe. And then later on, as we get into it, we realize through my guide that we are two halves of a whole. We are a soul that is split into two, and the two halves are coming together. And it's like, I know what she's thinking. She knows what I'm thinking. We can be on a show and I know what she's going to ask, or I'll ask it. And she's like, I was just going to ask that. It's a connection that is very rare. It was free will. This was not an agreement or a contract or anything like that. It actually blew spirit away that we were able to find each other. I mean, it wasn't meant to be.
Do you remember when I first spoke to you and I said, it's like you're both one? Do you remember I said that to you?
Yes, you recognized it.
I'm reading you. You're both one. It's like you're one.
That's right.
And you said you had goosebumps, Laurie, and you went, because that's it. And I went, blood, and I had goosebumps too at the time. But it was like watching you two, and I kept saying the synergies, and I said, just like you're one. Mm-hmm. You're one.
Mm-hmm. We are.
One's the back.
We are. We are.
Yeah. God, that's mind, and you weren't looking for it. You weren't, you hadn't studied it.
No.
Yeah.
No, and
it's just total free will.
Even when I recognized her in different scenarios, different aspects of our consciousness at different places and times, and different roles that we were playing, I never knew that we were one.
Yeah.
Until we started figuring it out, and then we realized, oh my God, we're just polar. We're just the mirror.
You're the polarity.
And you'll have that with other soul tribe members. I mean, you'll have that with other people to a degree, but to the extent that I know when she's waking up in the morning, because I'm waking up and I'm like, I wake up and I'm like, I bet you Laurie's up, and there she is, Yeah. So it's like, or she hasn't eaten today. She's getting a headache.
A big one.
She's going to get a migraine.
Yeah.
It's a big one, yeah. And it's just things like that, or she'll be like, Theresa's down. She's sad. Something's pulling her down, and she'll connect me and go, are you okay?
It's amazing.
It's just weird.
I mean, I've got a couple of questions on that. I mean, that I don't know if it's true or not. So I'm supposed to be an interviewer here, not another crazy one. Three of us, three amigos. I'm going to try and be professional and ask pertinent questions, but because I mean, this is just beautiful. So as I'm listening to this, I'm thinking, not that it's the truth. Here's a theory, guys. Is it possible that your one soul into, well, just say you two, came in at this time to come together to do this for what we're just going through now?
Yes.
I'd rather if you articulated it more than me. Does that resonate with you?
Big time.
Big time. Okay. Expand. I can't listen. I don't have just big time. I need expanding on it, please. Come on. Dig it out.
Sorry, Laurie. Go for it, Laurie.
For me, my understanding of it was this was free will at its best.
Yeah.
My path was not to do this. It was not in my contract with her.
Yeah.
This is the part that's difficult because everyone understands soul agreements and things like that. But we're one soul split into two, having two separate experiences.
Yeah.
Now, the reason we came together was because we were attracted to the same information, and we followed that attraction into that, and then realized there was more to it. Now, my guide was adamant. I'm like, is this a contract? No, it is not an agreement. Free will at best. That's why they were so surprised by the whole thing. So as we got to know each other and discovered more and more about it, it just blew all of our understanding of everything that we kind of knew up until that point, just blew it right out of the water, and just expanded us in ways that incrementally happens on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I mean, it must have shattered every truth that you thought you had.
Most definitely.
I mean, it's just like you're waking up one day and realizing, oh, I'm a man. Well, that would just shatter. But I'm serious. It must have shattered, because as we go on our path, yes, truths change as the more that we become more self-realized. And that's part of the process. But for something as amazing and as beautiful as this to come to that realization, it must have just said, right, everything's out the window. What's next?
Yeah.
I mean, see, I have a slightly different. It's not 100% the same. My feeling at this point is that yes, we're two separate halves. We each had our own purpose.
Yeah.
Our own expansion. Yeah. We're each working on our own self-improvement, self-expansion, and have our own reasons for choosing. We both believe in free will.
Yeah.
We both chose the families that we chose to incarnate with for a reason. There are soul contracts there in those, okay? But we are here at this time for a reason for to help with this shift in humanity that's occurring, that's ongoing right now, because we each have certain skills and talents that we can share with others to help others make that through.
Yeah.
As we're learning ourselves and exploring ourselves or our own consciousness.
Mm.
So we have, but where we come together is we are united as one in the purpose we now understand that we have for humanity.
Yes.
We still have our own separate individual journeys and paths and learning, and we learn from each other because she'll come up with stuff that helps me in my environment and vice versa. We help each other understand. She has guides that I don't have, and we have guides that we share.
Yeah.
So here's the kicker. I was talking to two different entities that guide me. One is my higher self, okay? And I didn't know that till recently. I thought it was an angelic. But since then, I have connected with my angels. Now, I have Gabriel and Nathaniel, and I will get guidance from them. And then Nathaniel goes over and chats with her too.
I'm like, wait a minute.
Her.
Do you know what? I mean,
and Eric
stalked him. She stalked
sometimes.
him. Yeah, we know. Sharing is caring, Theresa. Come on. But no, I think for me, I mean, you know what my truth is. I come from the truth of self-realization. I consciousness at all things, all times, all places, all timelines, can do whatever I choose. I have no issue with this. I find it beautiful because consciousness will express itself and manifest itself in multiple ways that we can't even imagine. So you can't say, no, that can't happen. For me, yes, that can happen. And as that you were talking, I was picking up how you've got your individuality. I haven't been drinking, guys, honest. And she has too, Laurie has too. But you've got these transferable skill sets, yeah? And then when you come into the one, they are all, it's like if you've got a holographic being, I'm using my analogy, guys, for a different reason, and it shatters into different shards, but it's the one, same as I use for self-realization. I'm using it for Theresa and Laurie at the moment. And you're all pieces of the one of the puzzle, and you come back in and you just lock. There you go.
Yeah. There you go.
That is it within the realms of possibilities, and I think it's beautiful. And I got a feeling maybe more human beings maybe find out that's what's going on, because you know that these sort of experiences are not one-offs. You know.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I've
you know what?
Go on,
what I've been thinking is that now, especially, we have opened up so much to one another over the past 6 months, and even in the past 3 months, it's just been, it gets stronger and stronger daily, you know. And the thing is that there are probably numerous people that have this situation, but they might be experiencing different realities right now and haven't. And I'll tell you why. There's exponential growth. Now think about this. If you were wanted to do house cleaning, and you knew you had to vacuum, dust, do the dishes, take the trash out, wouldn't it be nice to have 6 sets of hands, or wouldn't it be nice to have 4 of you?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So your ability to expand is exponential. It's doubled when you have a split soul.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because one can be experiencing things about unconditional love, another could be experiencing what it is to contrast light and dark. I mean, your experiences are exponentially broad compared to just being a single soul.
Yeah.
So it seems to me that there's probably a lot of these types of possibilities out there, but it's rare that the two people will recognize it at the same
rare.
timeline.
Yeah, I'm
the
thinking
same
that
reality.
Yeah, I'm thinking what's just come into me from whoever's popping in my head here is that I've just been given another analogy, and I hope it resonates. Is, you know, if you get identical twins, physical beings born, the connection between the identical twins, in some cases, as if they're one. They could be the other side, even if they've been adopted and split, they would like the same color, they know the same thing, blah, 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 all down the line. And that's the analogy they've just given me. So why not in this, in the spirit realm or the soul realm?
Yeah.
We know it's fit. I mean, if anyone wants evidence, and I do not need evidence for this to happen, but anyone thinking, well, how could that happen? We have it in the studies done on identical twins. If you go and research that, it's as if they're one. And when they're together, yeah, it's unbelievable. So thank you guys for giving me that analogy. But does that resonate with you? What I just
it does, because we even like the same foods, we like the same things, and we're like, oh, I like that, or I love this, I love that too. And it's just every time we turn around, it's like it's the same, or I like to do this, or I go to do that. And my favorite food is, and mine too.
I could never imagine another me. I mean, it would be the end of the world, obviously. And I'm more like to say, move over, bitch. I'm first, as you do. I am a twin. My brother passed. I am a twin, but however, there would have been too much competition. Two of us, it would have. But anyway, now the reason I really wanted to go deep on this and for you to expand is because what I'm hoping that I'm demonstrating here, this is the backdrop of why their show is so successful. It's not just two Homo sapiens getting together, one identity, the other one coming in, and I better leave that bit to one side. I'm trying to show why the show is so successful, and on the back of what you've just said, can you see that now? Can you actually resonate? You look at what you've done in a year, and because of the connection you have, that was needed for you to achieve and share and disseminate knowledge, information, possibilities, open minds to humanity. It couldn't have happened without the two coming together. Does that make sense?
Well, at first, you just felt this constant drive and need to come together, to create something, to move forward, to present it. And so we were kind of in this funnel for a long time, and it took a little bit, because we're just past a year with our channel. Then we're starting to look back, and we're seeing 90 plus shows, and we're finally, for me, I'm just starting to kind of grasp all this now. I'm like, wow, we've just been so into getting it done and doing it. But and the other thing is, we have so much respect for each other, and we allow each other to have our own opinions. We don't always agree on everything, but we
personal autonomy in everyone, isn't there?
Yeah. But it helps us. It allows us to be that way with our guests, even though sometimes our guests may not be of the same stature, in the sense that they have their own thoughts and their own thinking, but we allow others to have their opinions and thoughts, and we respect it.
I've seen. I have seen.
And as much as I want to go, are you kidding me? I can't, because I can't go against that. That respect.
No, I've actually
has to be maintained.
Yeah, I spoke to you before about that. I've actually witnessed that, and I'm like, would I, as a host of a podcast, would I behave like that? I have had a few. It doesn't bother me. They've got their right for their truth, but sometimes I just sit there and pinch myself if they get opinionated, and I'll pinch my leg, because I know my ego will try and find a way to come in and press my buttons, and and then
the ego can't play a part.
Well, we have
not when you interview.
Exactly.
We have an extremely dynamic team of people. It's the show works not only because the two people that are driving the bus, so to speak. It's also because we are attracted to like-minded and have that soul connection as soul brothers and sisters with our panelists, like Jules and Dalibor and Karen, and I could just name, we've got a dozen people that float in and out, but Brian and all of us together are what make Andromeda work.
Yeah,
That's true.
Now, Laurie and I have done Pure Love Ascension. She has a channel called Pure Love Ascension, where she shares a lot of her gnosis over the years, and we do intuitive card readings on that together. And we bring in a crowd that enjoys getting their readings from us because we're so in sync and spirit. We're so tapped in. We're very tapped in, and we enjoy that. No ego. We're just saying what it is, what it is, and people enjoy that channel when we do that together. So yes, Laurie and I could go off and do something together and still have probably a really good show, and we've proven it on Pure Love, right, Laurie? So,
yes.
But what makes Andromeda work is the guests that we bring in. You know,
I agree. I mean,
and all of the people that work with us is what makes this show really work.
I mean, you know, I'm here in the UK in a little village in the country. I'm Billy No Mates, and it's just me. However, it's the guests that make the podcast. It's the guests, and that's what it's about. And you know, it's part of, you know, like you know, when I do my, you know, I mean, people get bored of it, but it's the best analogy ever. Let's have an orange. I'm going to cut it into 3/3. We're all going to have a piece of the orange. We're all going to experience the orange. However, we're all going to experience it differently. Same with podcasting. We're all coming in now, podcasting, to do what we need to do at this time. We're going to experience it different. And so you might be yourselves with like a team around you. Billy No Mates here in the UK. It doesn't matter because it's the same expression of the self in multiple ways. So, but you know, one thing I found the hardest thing to do is the value that getting out of my guests is their recognition of the value of their contribution. And it is an area, and we always recognize the value of our guests on our show, don't we? The value of their beingness on the show, sharing. But when, you know, it comes back and I'm raising this because I'm hearing it from many hosts, when it comes back, and like I've tried to do it earlier on, and you both shut me down straight away, and I knew what was happening because for some unknown reason, I'm the same. It's when the value comes back, and I've been working on that. We're forever working on ourselves, and I want to stop a minute and raise this. It's one thing to be humble and kind, you know, but I've learned now not to devalue myself. I'm offering a service, not Gloria. I'm not talking the identity here. It's my mission, if you want to use that awful word. It's part of what I'm supposed to do. It's my journey. And I'm coming into a greater recognition through the self-realization that when I was pushing away the valuing of the work that I do, and we all know how many hours it takes and what to do, that was the identity still trying to put you down. Yeah. Do you see what I'm saying? Laurie, you're nodding there. Does that resonate with you?
It does. My whole thing about it is I just come on and I am who I am, and I'm very good at being myself.
Yes.
I love people like yourself, Gloria, who are comfortable in their own skin and can be themselves.
Yeah.
I dig that. I enjoy that. Yeah. And I allow people to do that. I may not always agree, and I may have an opinion about it, but I'm not going to take anything away from what you're saying or what you're talking about because you're the guest. You're the one giving your insights and your knowing and your knowledge. And I have a great appreciation for that, just as I want to be respected in the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's never any judgments or.
No, it's a work in progress. And like we always say, like when an arsehole comes into your life to press your buttons, you need to do some work if you react. That's what I say anyway. Pressing the buttons.
And I go, I look at you and I go, you're an asshole.
Yes.
I see that. You're an asshole. Yeah. You can be an asshole all by yourself.
Exactly.
Over there.
That's it.
Here.
Yeah. So that's my analogy for the next part of this question. Yeah.
And when she thinks that, I hear that thought and I go,
Well, honest, it's like, yeah,
it's
exactly
true,
right. So I'm also looking at, whilst we're, how do I get this out? Help me out, guys, here. Whilst we're on this journey of self-realization, where we're doing what we're supposed to do for whatever's happening, at the same time, we have come into podcasting. So we got these guests coming on, one after the other. And we're working on ourselves at the same time.
Yes.
Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Yes,
It does.
absolutely.
Yes.
You know, and like, you know, you think, oh no, I got this guest returning. And you know, you think, oh God, you know, and then I go, hold on a minute, hold on. What's pressing my buttons? So through running this for nearly a year, I now go, bring them on the show. And if I feel my buttons pressed, I will do the work. I'm out of it. I'm sorry. I need to get out of it. So that resonate with you, what I'm saying. So it's a dual, even though it's in the self-realization, it's still a dual aspect of it. So you've got the consciousness doing what it needs to do, the creator God, but you also at the same time, we mustn't forget the consciousness of the identity. I'm going somewhere with this, so bear with me, my madness.
Okay.
And the energies and the work needs to be done on the physicalities, because it's like we're spiritualizing the physical aspect of ourselves. So the work is constant. So every guest you get on, if they press your button, you know, I don't, you know, I just let them carry on. It's fine. But what I'm doing, I said, that's my mirror. There's my mirror. And I need them back on the show to see if they press my button again.
Yeah. I like to integrate that within myself.
Yes.
Because if you think about it, every person you meet or talk to is always an aspect of yourself.
Yes.
You know, I remember that about myself, or I see that in myself.
I was an asshole. I was.
Yeah. Oh, I was the best asshole. I was so good at being an asshole.
No. I won an Oscar.
No. I was Golden Globe. Golden Globe.
No. Pressing my buttons. She's pressing my. But do you know what I mean? It's true, though. It's true. I mean, I call it reflection. So when you're a host, what you're doing, as much as there's a value within of the co-creator doing what it's supposed to do for whatever it's doing, we won't digress, but there is this constant expansion of the spiritualization of the body, and where the reflection comes in, and you're looking at them and you feel it just come up, you know, that little tickle, you know, that little But in the past, I would have said it to the person, but now I go, oh fuck no. I'll deal with that, and I go, stay there, energy, and there's my guest. Stay there, because it's not them, it's me. And you can stay there. I don't have a problem. It's not who I am, and I stay there. Do you know what? But a few minutes later, I'm well in. We've connected in synergies, energies. Boom, a beautiful show. So really, you know, people say, oh, it's really good. When they say it's good you doing this, I said, well, actually, I'm doing it for myself. We're all doing this for ourselves. Is that true?
Spot on.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, I did all that to lead up to something, okay? Because I want to spend the rest of the podcast talking about your individual self-realization. Okay? That's what I really would love to go into. So I'm going to start with Theresa first.
Okay.
Just in case she goes to the right or goes to the left. or she does this to Laurie for some reason, or the cat disconnects. So we better get her in first. Theresa, can you just give us a couple of aspects of the self-realization of who you are? I mean, what happened? What went on in your journey when this come about?
Who I am? Okay.
When did you realize who you truly are?
Your journey. When did you get on that journey?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think back. It was like I was in my teens.
Yeah.
When I realized that the Catholic structure that I was brought up in was totally freaking not right.
Yeah.
There was something wrong with it.
Yeah.
And I tried to fit in, but I just couldn't accept certain truths that were being revealed to me on my own study.
Yeah.
And I put a good 10 years of my life into anything from philosophy to world religions to mysticism to, I've looked at all the world religions. I even went to their churches and their synagogues and their temples, and I just threw myself into it, a lot of research. And I probably was in my mid-20s to late 20s when I realized, that I had these leanings to what I would call the path of the Christos spirit.
Yes.
Which to me was a culmination. What I did is I'm one of those people who picks and chooses what resonates with me.
Yeah.
And there are things in Gnosticism that resonate. There are things in mysticism.
Yeah.
There are things in not so much the Vedic, but in Buddhism. Mm-hmm. Wow. And the parallels between Buddha and Jesus are just incredible. Mm-hmm. But then I came to realize that Jesus is a conglomeration of different characters. And so it's the spirit of which the message is given, mm-hmm. which I have come to understand is the Christos spirit.
Yeah. Now
that spirit is representative of source energy itself, mm-hmm. to me. Mm-hmm. And God and gods and goddesses are man-made conceptions and thoughts to me. Mm-hmm. So for me, there is a higher source of consciousness that mm-hmm. we're all a part of in my gnosis. Mm-hmm. And the way in which that energy and vibration is experienced in this 3D reality mm-hmm. is through the teachings and wisdom of some of the spiritual messages that people like the Christ and the Buddha were putting out there.
Yes.
Okay, and so the kingdom is really within. Everything is really within.
Yes.
And so I've been on this journey now since I've been about 26, and I really didn't go full throttle with it because I had personal problems.
Yeah.
In this reality.
Yeah.
Of this journey, not really fully understanding mm-hmm. that connection between the spiritual mm-hmm. knowings of certain things and what I was going through personally as this avatar in this human body. And so I went through a lot of drama.
Yeah.
And some really bad things. And I had drinking issues. Mm-hmm. And so I went through this roller coaster ride mm-hmm. between my mid-20s and 40s.
Yeah.
Of being pulled into darkness far too many more times than I would like.
Yeah.
Depression, anxiety, you name it, the mm-hmm. whole ball of wax.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until a couple years ago until I met this spiritual community. I mean, there were some Christians that were trying to help me earlier on, mm-hmm. and they did. They're my Christian brothers and sisters, and I love them still. Mm-hmm. But my gnosis was such that they couldn't accept me.
No, yeah.
Without trying to control my gnosis. And I'm like, no, I need to be me. I need to be me.
Yes, you
do.
So
I started seeking communities, and I met Scotty Roberts, and I met Rocky Stucci, and I started making friends in those chat rooms with people because I never did chat room stuff. And I listened to J.D. Johnson's Paranormal, and I met people there, and a lot of them crossed over. Mm-hmm. And you'd find them in Wayne Steigers, or you'd find them in Brian Barnett, and one person in particular, Michelle, a sister of ours, Michelle Cannon Free, she brought me into these other chat rooms where I could meet more people and grow and expand. Mm-hmm. And I owe her everything for that, because I finally found my family, my tribe.
So beautiful.
And we might not all agree on everything. We might mm-hmm. have very different gnosis because we're all on a separate journey, but I found a place of purpose And I found that I didn't need to have depression and anxiety. I didn't need to have suicidal thoughts. I didn't need to be alone anymore. And that had me go inside.
Yeah.
And I started doing that deep inner work.
Yeah.
And I found my true self and met my higher self.
Wow.
And when that happened, then I started getting the downloads.
Yeah.
I'd always had visions, but I pushed them away.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I thought something was wrong with me.
Yes. Yes, I hear you.
I thought, oh, it's multiple personality, or it's schizophrenia, or it's some other emotional problem because you have all these other anxieties and you have all these other problems. But it's none of that. And it's when you finally meet yourself and go, oh my God, I love you.
Yes.
I love you. You're freaking cool.
Yeah,
you're
I went, oh my God, it's me.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it's me. That's that. I didn't say I was, oh my God, it's me. It's me.
Yeah. That was quite a realization.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
you do. You fall in love with yourself. You fall in love with yourself.
Once that recognition comes in, then, you know, and, I mean, you have a good laugh at the same time. That's, you know, it's just a big joke. I'm not going to jump in because I'm going over to Laurie. That, I mean, I love that. Now, I must say, Theresa, when you were sharing that, I was welling up with emotional energy. It was beautiful. The journey was beautiful. I come from, let's just say, you know, a human experience of torture and abuse and whatever all the way through. And so, you know, I know, and most people I know have gone down this roller coaster, you know, and I remember years ago, you know, someone said, you agreed to this before I realized it was me. And I said, you can fuck off. Why would I agree to that? Do you know what I mean? Why would I?
Well,
you know, but no, it is we all seem to go through this vroom, 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 vroom. And there's a few of us, and it doesn't make you selective or special, but I've recently over the past year met a handful of people, their life has mirrored mine in human experiences of depression, of everything. I've done the suicide. Obviously, I failed. I'm still here unless I'm dead. And you're are you the medium?
I know what you mean.
It's
I know what you mean.
Film. Yeah, there you go. But I've noticed that this roller. So I think that's why I felt that you know, when you were talking, I was going, you can do it. And like, that's really weird. I was doing that because you've already done it. If you see what I'm saying, I felt that was beautiful. And
the thing is when you come out of it, Gloria, there's still work to be done.
Always, forever.
And if it wasn't for meeting my other half here, I may not have understood what a soul contract is.
No.
And I may not have let go of some of the things I had to let go after I found out.
Then, Theresa, I'm going to say, before I go to Laurie, because you did the work, this is why you met Laurie, and that's why it happened. Take the value.
Yeah, most definitely.
Laurie, what about you? When did the, you know, like, oh shit, it's me, happen to you? How did that happen, Laurie?
I would say in my late 20s, I kept asking myself, what is the purpose of life and why are we here? And I discovered dream books, and I got into dream books and understanding and started working with that to better understand the subconscious mind. But the real trigger that happened was 3 years ago in 2018. My father passed away, and I was in the hospital with him, and he died in my arms. And he was deathly afraid of dying. He did everything he could to maintain a good physical body and to be here as long as he could. But he had a lot of difficulty with COPD and also with some brain bipolar issues and things like that. So it was very difficult early on life for me. There was a lot of trauma involved with that kind of stuff. But after he passed away, I started to watch everything I could on dying and death. And I discovered YouTube. And next thing I know, I found myself doing thousands of hours of research. And in my research, I discovered a channel called Channeling Eric. And Eric is a 20-year-old who took his life in 2009, committed suicide. And his mother started a blog that explained her process of healing. And in doing so, Eric told people that if you watch the channel, I will help you, but you need to ask for my help. So I decided to ask for some help. And in doing so, I realized that Eric was buzzing around. So he would play little tricks on me to get my attention. And the one that really nailed it was he turned my TV on and off 4 times one night. And the first couple times it happened, I thought it's a remote. It can turn on and off. I didn't think much of it. But by the 4th time, I finally in my mind went, okay, Eric, I hear you and I understand what's going on. So I watched a few other channels and I realized that I could communicate with spirit using a pendulum. And I've been using it practically every day for the last 3 years and perfected it and connected with Eric. And Eric has been guiding me. And I was told by him that I dropped all of my other guides and I now have him as my guide. So he taught me how, along with some others like Abraham Hicks. I spent a lot of time listening to Abraham Hicks and love that. And Seth, the teachings of Seth.
Yeah, I'm aware of the Seth teachings.
And then quickly realized how to control my thoughts, how to stay positive, power of manifestation. Although I was very good at manifesting things anyway, kind of a natural ability to do that. I would see things before and would know that would happen. But this is now on steroids, so to speak, and things are coming quickly. And so in doing so, with working with Eric, we got to a point where he reached an archangel level from helping people like myself, and he helps thousands. But we have a really amazing connection between the two of us. There's just so much love and respect. And I learned so much about who I was. I learned about the inner being, who your inner being is, and it's actually yourself, and how parts of you are in the etheric realm, and just, the whole aspect of the spiritual awakening. And it's basically just changed me forever. I can't imagine ever not thinking this way or being.
No, there's no way going back, is there? There's no way. The door's shut, so to speak.
Even if I come back in another life, even if I choose to come back, it's always going to be a part of me. It'll be with me, just as my past lives are always a part of who I am today. And those, aspects and things that I learned in those lifetimes, I bring to this lifetime. And it just kind of just getting better. And you're just adding more.
I mean, we've just touched upon it. I mean, there's a lot more to it. However, the reason I led up to that is because ultimately, what is going on now, what all of this is about, on the back of what we spoke about, and why we're doing what we're doing, now. So not only you've got the individual, and it's not just podcast hosts, there's billions of people out there doing their thing their way and doing as much as they possibly can, whether it's an author, a musician, a sculptor, an artist, even the man sweeping the road. You have no idea. If you see an arsehole, be careful, because they may wake up a lot quicker than what you think. It is going. I always say that. You don't have to be a show host. And you can be a show host and have self-realized beings on, but if it's not on your journey to awaken, it's not going to happen. So that don't work either. The ego
coming on and doing this, just putting yourself out there, takes tremendous strength. I remember what it was.
If I was a man, I'd say
chutzpah.
Yes, it does.
I mean, it does. It's not as easy as you think. I mean, I'd never done media. I was life of crime. I was a criminologist, youth justice, not that crime. And I, body dysmorphia, you're ugly. I had that the whole of the life. And it was through the contact last, Christmas. It was, Christmas, New Year. And these beings come in and I saw them. I didn't realize what had happened, but a couple of weeks later, I got up and went, I'm going to do a live chat show. And it was live at first. I have no media. I had made a documentary in the past. I made a documentary on domestic violence and child abuse for my co-workers. I created it, because I'm an artist, so it's easy to create. But I wasn't in it. You could hear my voice, but I wasn't in it because of this body dysmorphia. And I'm going, yeah, and who would have thought? And when I first hit the camera, I'm like, fuck. There you go. And I didn't record. I started live.
Oh, wow.
Live. Now, that was nothing to do with me. That was somebody else saying, just throw in the deep end, because if she's recording, she won't release it. Hello?
Yeah.
Because I still had to do the work on my identity that, this physical body really needs to look like whatever it needs to look like. I went live. Do you know how hard that was for me?
Oh, yeah.
Couldn't watch my show. Cut a long story short, going down the line, then they said podcast. Oh, fuck, here we go again. Get out there, why don't you? Now I can watch them. And I can watch myself now, and I go, wow, she's saying some cool stuff there. She's clever. It's like, do you understand
what it did? It allowed you to look at yourself the way others see you. And
absolutely.
That was amazing to me to be able to do that.
No, hold on, sorry, my phone, I didn't mute it. I apologize. So please say that again. Excuse me, let's mute my phone. Say that again, sorry.
It just allowed you to know who you were. You could see from other people what you look like and what you sound like and how you present yourself and who you truly are. You got to see that firsthand. And that's not something you can get from looking in a mirror.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
You don't get that. It's mirror work. In a sense, if you think about it, technically. And it allows you to get to know who you are.
It was amazing.
And be the observer.
And it did.
Of yourself.
Yeah, and I started to do the work, and I'd sit there at the beginning and go, when I first started, I'd go, she's okay. Oh my God, wasn't that?
I like her.
And so it started to build up. And then it wasn't until, because hindsight's a bitch, it wasn't until hindsight, like you've just stated, I realized what had occurred. But I was thrown in the deep end. I went straight live.
Yeah. Wow, you really did jump in with both feet, didn't you?
Yeah. I mean, but it has done. And I listened to, if my guest has really gone really deep with something, and I think, I'm going to catch that in the morning, because I really need to go back and listen. Because you spend time focusing on your guests.
Yeah,
You want to. I do ask questions sometimes. Say, this is personal. Do tell me. I can't help it. I just can't help being one of those.
Yes, do share. Do
share. Just for me.
Yes.
And I go watch it again, and I'm sitting there going, she asked a really good question there. My God, where did that come from? How did I say that? And so that has done the work for me. And I can watch. And by dropping that, by doing the work on that, as more guests come on, my consciousness expands and is open to more and more. Because I'm clearing out. I'm emptying the vessel.
Sure.
The consciousness with the energy that is stagnant or don't need anymore, it's shifting, and I'm opening up.
Gloria, I have a question. It just kind of popped into me, and I'm getting.
She just flipped the show. Flipped the show.
I'm sorry, I have to flip the show. But did either of you experience any kind of ascension symptoms physically when you? Okay. Yeah. What were those symptoms for you?
Well, my ascension was in increments. The first physical, really physical, was fear. Is that a symptom? It was the whole body went into shutdown, fear.
Huh.
Oh, interesting.
Like, I'm about to die. Panic. Heart palpitations, and I'm going.
Wow.
I'm going to die. And then you don't hear physically. It's allow, allow. And then the heart's going boom, boom, boom. And fear, I cannot tell you what that fear is like. It's bastard. experience, you know. That was the first physical. And at the same time, I felt like, not spirit, but I felt like someone was pouring something, electricity.
Buzzing.
And it buzzing, and then it come down, and then something was coming down, and then I felt it on my back. So I had all this physical at the same time of the fear. And as I was doing that, let that go. I'm not that. And that's how it started with me. I'm not that. I'm not a mum. I'm not this. I'm not that. And this fear, I was, the pain, I thought heart attacks coming. This is it. End of the world. You're going to go. Allow. And that was the first.
Interesting.
Massive. I had to overcome the fear of death a few times, 3 times actually. But it wasn't so bad the other times. It was little bits that, that's how I first experienced. And when I went, fuck, I can't die, I had a joy, then the joy came. But pains in the body, constant, and still pains in the body. And what I'm aware of now, my physical aspect, the avatar, hasn't quite caught up with the self-realization. Does that make sense?
It does.
So I've got pains and what you call osteo and fibro, and I know what it is, so that it hasn't caught up. So I'm going through that. Diet changes, intolerances appear. You're intolerant in anything. I'm doing my best, and just don't go near processed foods. This is the latter. This is the last part now. You can eat them, it doesn't matter, and it's not going to stop anything. But as I'm now aware, as the spiritualization of the physical and all the pains and whatever is, my body now is telling me new diets to eat. Does that make sense to you?
It does.
Yes, it does.
Yeah, most definitely does. Yeah.
Happened to me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same
I
with
got
you.
the arthritis acted up. I have osteo.
Yeah, I got osteo, yeah.
They say I had osteoarthritis in both knees as a result of a near-death accident and other problems throughout my life. But I got rid of all of that as I was going through the realization I'm going through this ascension symptoms. My skin started itching.
Yeah,
like I had my legs were peeling.
You got fleas. My God. Yes, you got fleas.
It's like a snake shedding your skin.
And it's big chunks of like almost like psoriasis, but not.
Yeah.
And I went through that for like 3 or 4 months, and I finally came out of it, and I'm fine now. And I worked on the healing of my own knees, repaired the knees and the shoulders, the lower back. I rarely have the pain now, except if I do something overtaxing,
I
my
get
body.
overtaxing.
It'll come back, but for the most part, I've gotten rid of a lot of those.
Yeah.
Things,
I had suction pumps to get in out of bed. I had a walking.
Wow.
At the time, I couldn't walk and I'd fall down. The knees would go. I can't tell you. That was then, and it's another story, another time. A spiritual guide just said to me, stop playing the fucking victim and wake up. Basically, I'm in the nutshell.
Yeah.
So and I've just been attacked again, not as bad, because I pushed it, the physical body recently. I pushed it physically. And it was in the hips, but I had Randy, I can't say his name, Weinemheiner, the other night. I was recording him on a podcast afterwards. He hit my hips. I've had no pain there since. So he helped reduce it right there. Just an ache, but it's gone. But I realized what it is, and it's mainly my knee and a few joints. Nothing like it was, but it's through doing, and I know I'm not bothered with it. And sometimes I go, fuck you bastard, about enough. That's what I know. Because I don't suffer, but I do sometimes say to an energy healer, can you just give me some goddamn relief? But I know what it is.
Gloria, just send it love instead.
I do. I talk
instead of saying you little bastard.
No, I joke. I joke with it.
Yeah.
When the
talk to it like it's
bad, I've got a coping mechanism. Sometimes it's so severe, I have to, if I swear, then I laugh, because I see myself as a human playing the human with the pain, but I'm not suffering. There's a difference. There's no suffering with it. I just go, you fucking bastard. Yeah. But that's my personality. But there's no suffering. So I sometimes I say things like, and I say that's the most illogical thing you've said, Laurie, because it's not real, which years ago would have been real, so to speak. So that's how I do it. But I've had all of that. I had bladder cancer that disappeared, surprisingly, to the surgeon. Unexplainable.
You had a hard time letting go of things.
Yeah. I mean, that, and I have a realization that my physical avatar as a child went through torture and sexual abuse, and it went on actually for in all around about 42 years of it, to a different type of abuse. So there's a lot of energy of it. That's, I've got quite a bit of shit that needs to come out. So I know that I'm in the cell, but it's just, and where I got the understanding that my physical body hasn't quite caught up was because I studied like Eckhart Tolle, Papa G, all back in through India. And there was one of them, and I can't remember his name, but he had the most beautiful crystal blue eyes. He wore just a cloth. He was just amazing. And and I remember Muji saying that, or Papa G was, one of them was saying, maybe Papa G, before he passed, he said that when he was dying, one of his, disciples, as they called them then, said to him, you're awakened, why do you have this pain in your body? Why have you got this? He had cancer still in the body. And he was like 80, I don't know how old he was. It was the end of the experience. And he said, it's nothing. The body just hasn't caught up yet. The physical, the consciousness of and when you can separate, and that's what I do, I separate it. I'm not the body. The body, I do say to it sometimes, would you fucking hurry up and catch up with me? Because I want to do things. I'm like, I can't push the body. I can't. But multiple, and the diet was the main one. I would go off as the more that I had the next realization, then my diet would change, and it could be for weeks or a couple of months, and then I would go back or go somewhere else. And I just said, let it flow. So I now I used to home cook all the time, raising my 6 children, fresh home cooked food. And now I'm on my own. I've just started recently cooking my own food again, all fresh, organic, as much as I can organic, if I can get it. And what happens? Your children turn up today and start eating your food. So that's the bad side of home cooking. So I've experienced it physically, emotionally, psychologically, but even through diet.
Yeah.
Diet. Yeah. How about you guys? Diet?
I think the biggest thing I'm staying away from is the preservatives.
Yes, trying to
eat things that grow in the ground, that come from the earth, and just staying away from all that toxic.
I've stopped tomato sauce. I went one day. It was months ago. I had tomato. I used to love tomato sauce, and I had tomato sauce, and my body it reacted. It was weird, and then I did something else, and I reacted again, and then I got it's the bloody preservatives.
Yep.
And then
all those chemicals,
it is. And so that's how it's been working, and I'm telling you, exponentially over the past 2 years now. Like someone was rushing me through the dietary system for some reason. And then obviously when I make the cake, and this is what I was saying to my children today, organic, when I use the organic flour, raw cane sugar, blah blah blah, organic cake, a Victoria sponge, does not taste like the preservative Victoria sponge. It is a totally different taste. However, it reminds me more of old school cakes back in the day. And it's so I'm getting used to the new taste. And with organic food, it's even your palate, your taste buds are changing. So there is everything changing. Dizziness. Did you go through a period of losing your balance?
Also I had muffling of the
Yeah.
ears. For about 2 weeks, I couldn't figure out what was going on. It felt like I had headphones on all day.
Underwater.
Yeah, that's it, exactly.
That's the one.
Yep.
And
Buzzing, tickling, itchy,
popping,
yeah, all coming down. And there were a few occasions I went, I'm underwater. I'm underwater. And I was really like underwater. So
my guide said that was your frequency is adjusting.
Yeah.
Because you're no longer who you used to be, and it has to catch up with itself in a physical sense, and that was part of it.
So this is what I was saying earlier on, that the self-realization, I'm waiting for the avatar to catch up.
Yeah.
But definitely underwater. I go, whoom, and I go, this is weird.
It is weird.
It was.
No, I got downloads to build my own gardens, to build a greenhouse, to plant my own fruits and vegetables, and I've been doing that for 2 seasons. And then I had the buzzing in the ears, like I had. I went and had my ears checked. They said no, and I couldn't hear clearly. And so when they did the ear evaluation, they said your hearing is normal range.
I've had
what you're getting is a tinnitus or something, and.
I've had
you're having an awakening, and it's a symptom of the awakening. That's what mainstream science and doctors don't get.
Yeah, they don't understand.
They don't understand.
You'll never get any answers from that.
I had a hearing test. This was way back. It must have been years ago. And I had one of my kids said, "Mum, you're deaf," because I'd have periods where I can't hear, because I'd have not only the tones, but I would have this white noise. It was like white noise.
Yeah.
And I still have it to this day. Constant white noise is always there. But in them days, I was getting the tones, not so much now. And I said, okay. And I walked in and I went in and said, look, my children say I'm deaf. And I had a hearing test. And I said, there's absolutely nothing wrong with your hearing at all. And I come outside. I said, see, told you. For them to understand, I just said, look, I'm a mum. It's called selective hearing, but I can't fucking hear something. I'm underwater. I'm like, boom.
Yeah.
And when I lay down at night, I can hear like the universe.
Fascinating.
Did you start seeing auras by any chance? Did you see auras around people?
When I was practicing the mediumship, yes. When I do my Zoom rooms, I got private Zoom rooms, teaching rooms, and I'm looking, sometimes it depends where the energy is. If they come in especially, and I'm looking at one of them on the screen, I can see it. Yeah, sometimes.
You see the aura. Have you ever seen a number?
A what?
A number, like the number 4 or a number 3.
Oh, you mean me personally or around someone? Me personally or around?
When you're around somebody, looking at somebody and talking to somebody, do you ever see a number?
No, normally what happens is I read their soul. I read them. I just connect and I get the information. I may see a color. I get their story. I get their agenda. If I need to, if not, I pull back. But no, not numbers. I get the people around. I can see. If they're mediums, I can see the spirits with them. I link in to support them, to help them, but not numbers. No, my career, if you call it a career in mediumship, was of rescue mediumship for souls that, and things like that, or going to houses and that. But no, I don't see numbers, not over there, not when I'm with them. I do get the double digits, yes, all the time.
But you do see the auras. I see the auras.
Auras I see. If it depends what my observer attention's on. So I tend to know what I'm going to observe this. So I block out any other gift, if you want to call it a gift, and I on that. So, if someone's got an issue and they're doing a reading, I will then go in and find out what's causing it. And it's normally part of the self-realization. I say, right, let's do a one-to-one in the group. It's your belief system. Why do you? And I give them a quick one-to-one in the group to shift that energy out of them. So I go in and for the self-realization now. I use it for that, to find out what is the blocks to the self-realization, what's causing it.
Yeah. I do a conscious regression. I actually practiced and did my first one with Theresa.
Oh my gosh.
It was awesome.
Regressed me. I didn't even know she was doing
consciously.
We were just having a conversation, and she started getting downloads and visions and was asking me questions. And as she's asking me the question, I realized after it was over with, she just did a childhood regression on me.
Oh, wow.
She had some blocks that were created when she was a kid that were coming to light. And I kept getting images about her being a little girl in the kitchen with her mom, where these energies kind of and programmings stem from. Mm-hmm. And I just saw everything. I saw her mom washing dishes. I saw her fighting with her dad. I saw her slam the door to the screen door going out, and her mother getting upset. And it just brought so much stuff up to the surface. Yeah. And allowed her to kind of process it.
I mean, I suppose you're doing it. It's very similar. You're doing it your way. I'm doing it my way.
Yeah. Yeah.
And as I go in and I'm like powering them up, and they think I'm not listening. I'm like this, and I boom, and I'm in, and I go, and I then see what that is. It's like I'm waiting. Like it's like a little doctor. I'm waiting. What's the little bug? And
where's the trigger?
Yeah.
Find the trigger.
And I say to the rest of the Zoom room, hold on, we've got a quick one-to-one here. Sometimes I give them one-to-one separate, an hour long or so on their own if they really need it. But normally within that, the energy's in there and they go boom, boom, boom. And it's like I'm going boom, 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 boom. Right. See, you had a fear. That was a fear, and they didn't know it was a fear that. So, it's part, I think, and also we've spoke about what we're doing with this. The more that it's all about us, actually, not about anyone else. It's all about us individual. The more we do this work, call it mirror work, call it whatever you want, press my buttons work, the more that our innate, who we truly are, abilities, the potentiality of this vessel, his abilities become known to us because we're still in the vessel. Yeah. We're still in it. All right. So I've been, I've seen dead people since I was born. It's not an issue. So I've all that, to me, that's always been there in psychometry and all the rest, but I'm telling you, even those born with these gifts through this period we're going through, it is accelerating and getting. Yeah. Have you realized that? Have you got that as well?
Oh, yeah. It's off the hook, off the chain, incredible fast.
I mean,
it never stopped.
How the fuck did I do that? Where did I? And I'm amazed. I'm amazed. The identity.
Yeah, it's just every day. It's exponential. It's like you wake up in the morning and you find out, wow, did we just do this last night? And sometimes it takes a minute to set in, and then you think about the next day, and you're like, "Holy crap!" You
got to process
But
it.
Laurie goes through things.
It's a processing.
Do you know what I just did? What I just did. I mean, Laurie gets it right away, and I'm sitting there going, my mouth open. I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
But Laurie gets it right away, and she's like, "Whoa, I just did this." And I'm like,
that's me. I'm like, yeah, did you see it, guys? I did that.
Yeah.
I did something yesterday.
Your own cheerleader.
Honest. I did something yesterday. And I was going, guys, did you see what I did that? Yes.
Yeah. Yes.
That's me. I'm on my own in my bungalow, so I'm fine. I can do it.
I love that. That's cool.
But, I mean, some people might be watching this right now and go, "Oh, listen to this ego party going on." And it's like, you know what, folks? It's really not ego.
It's nothing to do with your ego.
It's bliss. It's spiritual bliss because when something gets activated inside of you, you've leveled up. Yeah. Laurie and I go, "Hey, you leveled up today, Theresa, or you leveled up today, Laurie," and you feel a sense of more connectivity, greater love. Yeah. How do I? Greater love,
but more expanded.
But also you don't take life too seriously anymore. That's
why you have fun. You have fun.
I was talking.
Follow your bliss.
Yeah, I was talking to another guest the other day. We forget his name, bless him, because I'm in this space. And I was saying, I had to ask him a question. I don't know if it was on the video. It could have been, but it might have been afterwards. And I said, I'm going to try and explain this to you. I said, I'm in a conversation with someone and I'm perfectly aware I'm playing the human. But normally all the time I have this bliss within me, this joy. I'm smiling. I'm just in my house smiling, joy. And he said, I know what you're saying. He said, and it's like this. And he said, you're talking to, it could be an arsehole or somebody, you know, and you're just dealing with everyday life and you're just observing. That's all you're doing is observing this. And then as soon as the conversation's finished and you walk away, you started laughing. You're laughing because you know it's the play of Layla or the divine play or the dream or whatever. And that's where a lot of humor will come into those going through the latter stages or this stage. It's bliss and humor. It's the only word I can use is humor. You don't take yourself seriously. Like I'll say, right, I must really go and do this. And I start laughing. What the fuck are you talking about? It's not real. And boom. And so I still get them days, you know, to keep myself in check, which I think you need. You need to keep yourself in check.
A reminder.
Yeah, a reminder. It's not ego. It's just you find a space where I know what I'm not. That's what I can say. I know what I'm not.
And I'm not that person, and I'm not that person, and I'm not doing that.
Yeah,
you are doing all of that on your own.
And
I'll be me,
it's funny
you
to
be
you.
Yeah. And I remember, you know, the day when, for me, it was, you know, as you go along the journey, you're looking for this inner being, you know, you go around the houses, you study, and where are they? And then one day,
found it.
You look through your eyes, and you go, "Fuck, it's me."
Yeah,
it's all me. My personality.
Yep.
My burping, my farting, my drinking, my eating. It's me. I'm searching, and when you get to that, then you get the joke. It's a joke,
right?
Then you see that you see not a joke in a negative, condescending way.
It's good to find the humor in any of it and all of it, because it makes light of it and it makes it not so serious. You know,
you need to find the humor.
It allows you to vibrate at that vibrate. It allows you to get into a vibration that lifts you above and beyond anything previous that may have kept you from feeling that lightness. And it's that feeling that then allows you to open up to even more gifts and messages.
Guys,
gifts,
I hope you're realizing it's not a woo-woo spiritual. It's a journey. It's a dream. It's what you want to call it. It's an experience. And
one hell of an experience.
It doesn't matter if it matters, all right? Get over yourself. Get out the way and just live life. And whatever life brings you, tough. Get over it. It is what it is. I mean, I can say that now, but not years ago.
Oh, sure.
Years ago, I won the Oscar. I won the Oscar. You know,
that's a good way of putting it.
I always say, most of my podcasts, I had Sonia Barrett on a good few months ago, and I said to her, I won the Oscar for playing the victim. She says, no, you didn't. I did. I said, no, you get the BAFTA. I said, you can just roll up, you know. I was the best. And the fact is, what does that do to your illusionary perceived trauma? It annihilates it. You look at something that happened, you're not going for post-traumatic stress disorder anymore. It annihilates it. There's no suffering. It was an experience. And it's not personal anymore.
Right. And it is the past.
It is the
past. It is the past.
And we're always in the now. And Homo sapiens sapien, lives in the past constantly. And misses the now. So, but that's excuse me, I get too excited, so I'm coughing.
I don't know. I think we have multiple now.
Yeah,
I'm finding out here lately that we have multiple.
Now.
Our parts of our consciousness are in multiple scenarios that we create at different times, and it looks like to humans linear.
But it's not.
But it's not linear. Yeah. It's like, you know, the best way I can describe it. Do you know anything about theater?
Yeah.
In the Middle Ages, how they used to do theater?
Yeah.
They had a booth.
Yeah.
They had a street and they had a booth at so many yards apart.
Yeah.
And on each booth, they didn't change scenery on the stage. No. You went physically from booth to booth for the play. So imagine yourself. There's Atlantis.
Yeah.
Here's Egypt. Here's Greece. Here's Rome. Here's France. Here's Germany. Okay, this is the 3,000 years before Christ. This is during Christ. This is in the 1400s.
Everything
this is in the 1800s.
Yeah.
So there are pieces of because consciousness is all part of source.
Mm-hmm.
So there are pieces of your consciousness in each one of these booths, all learning exponentially the lessons of the experience of the human experience.
Yeah. So, I mean,
and so it is cumulative, but it's not cumulative in a linear sense.
Yeah, it's not.
You could think of it as stacked.
I've heard that stacked.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's a good one, Laurie. Yeah.
There are that was a beautiful analogy, and there are many beautiful analogies, but I'm just boring. I just say I am consciousness experiencing all things, all times, in all timelines, all places, all universes now.
Right, right.
So I don't follow the aspect of past lives. It's fine to define it as that. It's simultaneous lives.
Yeah.
So that's what I think. It's simultaneous. That's why we grow and expand the way we do.
Yeah. To me, it's all happening, and I've actually seen myself in another timeline, which was really got me, I must admit.
I bet.
Pretty freaky.
She was more scared of me than I was of her.
Wow.
And so I just say I am in all time, all spaces, all timelines, all dimensions, all universes, all galaxies, and I go do. So I see it all as now. Just I'm everywhere now. I'm consciously this singularity, this speck is aware, observing this one now. When I go to sleep in the conscious state that we call sleep, I'm somewhere else. And also I want to throw in as well, I have this theory. It's more likely crazy, but who cares? Because what the hell? And like people say, I astral project out. I go, we astral project in our dreams, they say, and I say, no, we're astral projecting on this timeline.
Exactly.
We're coming in. How does that resonate with you?
Yeah. I think we come here to be individuals. I think in the etheric realms, we're part of a group consciousness. And the only way to be a singular individual, to experience it from one.
We come in, we astral project in. We're not astral projecting out. When we go into what we call the sleep zone, we're going back. But so I say
we're going to classes.
Yeah.
We're doing all that. I want to go back and be an individual.
Yeah.
I want to just really get into that.
So, wherever we are, we go, right, it's wake up, we're going back in. So we astral project into the 3D Newtonian reality to experience duality.
Yes.
Astral project out to another dimension.
Right.
We are that other dimension.
We are that.
Theory. But that's just Gloria's theory. That's just it's this how I'm seeing things now. I can't see it the other way. So as I said, and it was one day I was working on it, a bit of discernment now and again, and it went, and I flipped it, and I went, fuck, that was so simple. Flip it.
It is simple. Yeah.
Now, how many times have you looked at something and go, why didn't I think of that before?
Because it was too simple, because our conscious mind wants to make things more complicated. And when you take the complication away and you just simplify it, that's when you get it. That's when you're like, well, a little light bulb goes off.
I'm telling you, this has been, this has been amazing. We've done an hour and a half. I'm not surprised. And we haven't even touched on half of it. But don't worry. In fact, Open Minds will come out before this one comes out on Inception. I can't thank you enough for the most amazing conversation and for sharing, your truths with our audience. It's just been fantastic. And us three are going to do a bit of time traveling, guys, because this is coming out in the future, but they're then coming back for tomorrow.
That's right.
Tomorrow. I know if anyone can make it weird, it's going to be me. Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Gloria.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Before we go, if anyone, before we say good night or whatever time it is in your world, do you want to shamelessly advertise your sites or anything else? Where can
Go ahead, Theresa.
Well, on YouTube, we're at Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway channel. And that's a 7, the number 7. So Andromeda 7 Celestial Gateway is our YouTube channel. And then our Facebook page is right now Andromeda 7 Portal on Facebook.com, because we started out as Andromeda 7 Portal because we are an information sharing portal.
There you go.
We also have a website that's part of the Crystal Network, and it's at Queen of Quartz Crystal Network.com, and it's a worldwide website of all the different people we bring into the community through the gateway and through other programs and services, and it's their products, their businesses, you know, whether they're artists. Some people create artwork, other people book an appointment if you need to have counseling, or if you want to have a card reading, or if you want to have a psychic reading. So, and it's a whole educational section in there too. People's journeys, their stories. If you've done anything like, we have a whole series on esoteric Egypt. We have a whole series on pyramids and crystals. There's a whole crystal section.
Australia as well. We have a lot of Australian brothers and sisters.
Well, so you know, audience, if anything that resonates, if you've heard anything between the three of us, the three amigos, anything that resonates, you know where to go further with it. If it doesn't resonate with you, it's okay. Put it to one side. Okay, just leave it there. You plant the seeds there, just leave it there. But you know where to go now. I mean, this site has everything for you. And, you know, I highly recommend these two. Yeah. You know, I mean, it just changes your life listening to, well, just look what I've just been through. I'm now totally insane, put it that way. No, seriously. Go to their website, access the things that they have. There's something for everybody. And you might find it just may be the door or the key to a door you need to open. And
that's right.
Love you both. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been an honor.
Oh, thank you. So
great pleasure.
We better shut up, or we'll just keep saying thank you. Thank you,
we'll
guys,
see you tomorrow.
For watching. Please like, subscribe, the Inception podcast. Share it out. I always say it's not about me, it's about the guests. Share this far and wide. But yeah, it could be slightly about me, but who knows? But anyway, until the next time we talk on Inception podcast, bye from now.